The night sky above Pine Ridge was clear. Stars shone bright like tiny diamonds. Amelia Wright sat in her small observatory on the hill. She loved watching the stars. It was her job and her passion. Amelia was 32 years old, with short brown hair and green eyes. She worked alone most nights, tracking star movements and looking for new ones. The town below was quiet. Most people were asleep by midnight. She looked through her big telescope and wrote notes. Suddenly, a bright light streaked across the sky. It was not a normal shooting star. It moved too slow and was too bright. Amelia grabbed her camera and took pictures. The light changed direction. It dropped lower and lower. Then Amelia heard a crash in the woods behind her observatory. The ground shook. Birds flew away from trees. Something big had fallen. That was not a meteor, she whispered to herself. Her heart beat fast. She should call someone, but who? The police? The army? Instead, she grabbed her flashlight and jacket. The night air was cold as she walked into the woods. Her flashlight beam bounced between trees. She followed a trail of broken branches. After 10 minutes of walking, she saw it. In a small clearing sat a ship. It was not big, maybe the size of a small bus. Its shape was smooth, like a teardrop. The outside was silver with blue lines that seemed to move like water. It did not look damaged from the outside. Amelia moved closer. She was scared but more curious. The ship had no windows she could see, no wheels or rockets either. She touched the surface. It felt warm and seemed to pulse under her fingers like it was alive. A soft hum started. Part of the ship's side slid, open. Light poured out from inside. Amelia stepped back, ready to run. A figure stumbled out and fell to its knees. Amelia froze. The being looked almost human, but not quite. It was a woman, or at least shaped like one. She was tall and thin with long arms. Her skin changed colors like oil on water. Blues, purples, and greens moved across it. Her hair was white and floated around her head as if underwater. Most strange were her eyes. She had 3 of them, 2 where human eyes would be and 1 in the middle of her forehead. All 3 glowed amber like fire. The alien woman was hurt. Purple blood dripped from her side. She tried to stand but fell again. Amelia didn't run. Something about the woman's eyes held her in place. They showed pain, but also intelligence. The alien reached out one long hand toward Amelia. Her mouth didn't move, but Amelia heard words inside her head. "You're my last hope, human," the voice said. It was like music with an echo. "The Voidborn come. Hide me." Before Amelia could answer, the alien woman fell forward. She was unconscious now, breathing in short gasps. Lights appeared in the sky above. They were bright and moved in straight lines, not like stars or planes. More ships. Amelia felt danger. These were not friends of the injured alien. Without thinking more, Amelia dragged the alien woman away from the ship. The woman was lighter than she looked, like she had hollow bones. Amelia half carried her through the woods to the parking lot, where her old blue Jeep waited. The alien fit in the back seat. Amelia covered her with a blanket. Just as she closed the door, a red beam of light swept through the trees. The new ships were searching. Amelia drove down the mountain road fast. In her mirror, she saw 3 big black shapes hover over the area where the alien ship had crashed. Red lights cut through the trees like knives. 20 minutes later, Amelia pulled into her driveway. Her house was small and at the edge of town. No close neighbors. Good. She helped the alien inside and laid her on the couch. The woman was still breathing, but her eyes stayed closed. The cut on her side had stopped bleeding. "What am I doing?" Amelia asked herself. "This is crazy. She should call someone, but who would believe her? And what if those ships were looking for this woman to hurt her?" As Amelia went to get her first aid kit, she noticed something strange about the alien's right hand. In the center of her palm was a crystal. It was about the size of a quarter but seemed to go into her hand, like it was part of her. The crystal glowed soft blue. When Amelia touched it, pictures filled her mind. She saw stars exploding, planets burning, ships like the one that crashed fighting against bigger, darker ships. A war in space. The images moved so fast they hurt her head. She pulled her hand away. The alien woman's eyes opened all at once. All three stared at Amelia. "They will find us soon," the voice said in Amelia's head. "I am Lyra, last of the Stellar Accord." "I'm Amelia," she answered, surprised she could speak. "What? Who is looking for you?" "The Voidborn. They eat worlds." Lyra tried to sit up. "The crystal you touched, it holds our history, our knowledge. They want it." "Are you an alien?" Amelia asked, though the answer was obvious. Lyra's skin rippled with colors. "To you, yes. To me, you are the alien." Her third eye looked around the room. "This planet is not in our records. You have been hidden, protected." "Protected from what?" "From the war." Lyra's eyes began to close again. "From what comes next?" Amelia had 100 questions, but the alien was too weak. Lyra needed rest. Outside, Amelia heard a helicopter. It was not normal for helicopters to fly over Pine Ridge, especially at night. She peeked through her curtains. It was black with no lights or markings. They were looking for Lyra already. Amelia turned off all lights in her house. In the dark, Lyra's skin glowed faintly. The crystal in her palm pulsed like a heartbeat. On her couch lay a being from another world. In the sky above, others searched. And somehow, Amelia was now part of something much bigger than her small-town life. "I'll help you," she whispered to the sleeping alien. "I don't know how, but I'll try." As if in response, the crystal pulsed brighter for a moment. Amelia sat in her chair across from Lyra and waited for morning, wondering what she had gotten herself into and what would happen next. The helicopter passed overhead and moved on. For now, they were safe. But Amelia knew this was just the beginning. 2 weeks passed since Lyra crashed in the woods. Amelia's life was no longer the same. She called in sick to work at the observatory. She couldn't leave Lyra alone. The alien woman was getting stronger each day. Lyra healed much faster than any human could. The deep cut on her side was now just a faint purple line. She moved around Amelia's small house with a strange grace. Everything seemed to interest her. Books, plants, even the old TV in the corner. "Your technology is simple," Lyra said one evening. Her voice now came from her mouth, though it still had a musical quality to it. She learned English quickly by watching TV and reading Amelia's books. "I guess it would seem that way to you," Amelia replied. She stirred a pot of soup on the stove. Lyra ate human food, but in small amounts. "Your ship was amazing." Lyra's 3 eyes blinked at different times. "The Star Chaser was not my main ship. It was a scout vessel, a decoy." This was new information. "A decoy? You mean you have another ship?" "Yes." "Hidden. Safe for now." Lyra moved to the window and looked out. Her third eye seemed to see things the other two didn't. "They are still searching." Amelia had noticed strange things happening in town. Men in black suits asking questions. Vans with dark windows driving slowly past her house. Her computer had been hacked. Her friend Olivia from the university called to say someone had been asking about Amelia. "Lyra, you need to tell me more," Amelia said. "Who exactly are the Voidborn? What do they want? Why are you running from them?" Lyra sat at the kitchen table. Her skin shifted to deep blue. Amelia had learned this meant she was serious or sad. The Voidborn were once like you and me, living beings from a dying star system. They found a way to live forever by joining their minds together into one group mind, but it came with a cost. She held up her right hand where the crystal pulsed in her palm. They must feed on other civilizations. They take over planets, absorb all knowledge and technology, and make that world's people join them, or die. They remove all traces that the civilization ever existed. 17 species have been erased completely. "And your people?" Amelia asked softly. "Almost gone." The Stellar Accord was once a union of 5-star systems. We fought the Voidborn for 300 years. I am the last architect, a keeper of our knowledge and history. She pointed to the crystal. This holds everything. Our science, our art, our weapons designs, the genetic codes of all Accord species, and most importantly, the location of our hidden resistance fleet. Amelia felt cold fear run down her back. And that's what they want? That's why they're hunting you? Lyra nodded. If they get this crystal, the last hope of stopping them is lost. The resistance would be found and destroyed. Amelia looked out the window. A black car was parked across the street. It hadn't been there earlier. They've found us, haven't they? She whispered. Not yet. But they are close. The Voidborn can't come themselves yet. Your world has defenses they don't understand. But they have human helpers. People who work for them in exchange for technology or power. Amelia's phone rang, making her jump. It was Olivia. Amelia. Her friend's voice sounded scared. They found something at the crash site, not your visitor, something else, a beacon, and it's active. What do you mean, they? Who found it? I don't know. Men in suits. They took over the whole area. Set up some kind of lab. Amelia, they asked about you specifically. I think they're monitoring phone calls too. I shouldn't have. The call cut off. At that moment, all the lights in the house went out. Then all the lights in the neighborhood. Then the entire town went dark. Amelia ran to the window. Above the town, strange shapes moved in the clouds. They were big and made of sharp angles like dark crystals floating in the sky. Red beams shot down from them, sweeping over the streets. They're here, Lyra said. Her skin glowed brighter in the darkness, shifting to red and orange colors. The Voidborn have come themselves. What do we do? Amelia asked. We run. Now. They grabbed a bag Amelia had packed days ago just in case. Food, water, clothes, a map. They ran out the back door as red light swept over the front of the house. Amelia's Jeep started on the first try. They drove with the lights off, using only the moonlight. Other cars were on the road too, people running from the strange ships. Some roads were already blocked by men in black uniforms. Head for the mountains, Lyra said. I can show you where to go. They took back roads and dirt paths. Twice they had to hide as helicopters flew overhead. The radio reported power outages across the state. The news called it a solar flare, but Amelia knew better. Why Earth? Amelia asked as they drove up a steep mountain road. Why would they come here? Your world was hidden from most space travelers for a reason, Lyra explained. Protected. Protected by who? By the ancient ones, the species that came before all of us. They saw something in humans, a potential. Your minds work differently than other beings in the galaxy. You imagine things that don't exist, then make them real. You tell stories. You dream. Amelia thought about this. That doesn't seem special. It is. Most species only think about what is real, what exists. The Voidborn can copy technology, can absorb knowledge, but they cannot create new ideas from nothing. They cannot dream. This makes humans dangerous to them. Unpredictable. They drove for hours, going deeper into the mountains. The roads became rough, then ended completely. They continued on foot, climbing higher. Where are we going exactly? Amelia asked, tired from hiking. There. Lyra pointed to a waterfall ahead. It fell from a high cliff into a small lake. Nothing looked special about it. I don't see anything. That's the point. They walked behind the falling water. Amelia expected to find a cave, but instead, her hand passed through what looked like solid rock. A hologram, Lyra explained. Come. They stepped through the false rock wall into a large cave. In the center sat another ship. This one was bigger than the crashed ship and shaped like an arrowhead. It was black with lines of silver that moved across its surface. The Star Chaser, Lyra said with pride. My true ship. Inside, the ship was larger than it looked from outside. Smooth walls curved into a circle with a central control area. Screens lit up as Lyra entered. Symbols and images Amelia couldn't understand filled the air around them. "Why me?" Amelia asked, watching Lyra work at the controls. "Of all humans, on Earth, why did you crash near me? Why choose me as your last hope?" Lyra turned all three eyes to Amelia. Her skin shifted to gold, a color Amelia hadn't seen before. "Your grandmother, Catherine Wright. 50 years ago, she saw one of our ships. We've been watching your family since then. Your brain is special, Amelia. It works in ways that can help us." On a screen, images appeared. A younger Catherine Wright standing in a field, looking up at lights in the sky. "My grandmother never told me about seeing a UFO," Amelia said in shock. She was told to keep it secret, for her protection. Before Amelia could ask more questions, alarms sounded throughout the ship. On the main screen, 3 red dots moved toward their location. "Voidborn hunters," Lyra said, moving quickly between controls. "They've found us." "How?" "We were careful." "The crystal." Lyra held up her palm where the blue light pulsed faster now. "It contains so much energy they can sense it when they're close enough." The ship hummed to life. Outside, the waterfall parted, like a curtain revealing the cave entrance. "We need to leave now," Lyra said. She looked at Amelia with all 3 eyes glowing bright. "But first I need your help. The crystal contains weapons that can hurt the Voidborn, but I cannot access them alone." She held out her hand, the crystal shining. "I need a second mind, a human mind, to complete the key. Touch the crystal again, Amelia. Help me unlock the archive, or your world will become the 18th civilization they erase." Outside, trees began to fall as something large moved through the forest toward them. Red light flashed at the mouth of the cave. Amelia looked at the crystal, then at Lyra's 3 pleading eyes. "What will happen if I touch it again? Our minds will join. You will see everything I know. It will be overwhelming." The ship shook as something hit the cave entrance. Time was running out. Amelia reached out her hand and placed it on the crystal in Lyra's palm. "I'll help you," she said. The crystal flared with blue light that engulfed them both. The moment Amelia's hand touched the crystal, her mind exploded with light. She wasn't in the ship anymore. She floated in space, surrounded by stars. But these stars weren't just lights. They were alive. They sang to each other across the darkness. Lyra's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "This is how my people see the universe, all connected, all alive." Images rushed past Amelia faster than she could count them. Planets with 3 suns, cities built in the clouds, ships that could fold space like paper, creatures with bodies made of light. Then came darker images, planets burning, stars going dark, black ships shaped like thorns cutting through space, people screaming as their bodies dissolved into data streams. "The Voidborn," Lyra's voice explained. "Once they were the Kalathra from a dying star system. They found a way to upload their minds into machines, to live forever. But the process changed them, made them hungry for more knowledge, more power." Amelia saw the war unfold across 100 worlds. The Stellar Accord fought bravely, but they were losing. World after world fell. Species after species disappeared. "And Earth?" Amelia asked, her thoughts becoming words in this strange space. The view shifted to show Earth, blue and green, but surrounded by a soft shield of light. The Ancient Ones hid your world. They saw potential in humans that no other species had. Creativity, imagination, the ability to think in ways the Voidborn cannot predict. They left guardians to watch over Earth until humanity was ready to join the greater galaxy. But now the Voidborn have found us? Yes. One of their scout ships detected a signal from Earth 5 years ago. Your internet, your radio waves. They have been watching, learning your languages, your cultures, preparing. Suddenly they were back in the ship. Amelia gasped for air. It felt like hours had passed, but the screen showed only seconds had gone by. Outside, 3 hunter ships hovered at the cave entrance. They were black with red lights and shaped like arrows. "We must go now," Lyra said. Her hands flew over the controls. The crystal in her palm was connected to the ship somehow, sending pulses of light through the console. The Star Chaser lifted off the ground. The cave entrance was too small, but the ship fired a blue beam that widened the opening. They shot forward, bursting out from behind the waterfall. The hunter ships immediately gave chase. Red beams fired past them, hitting trees and rocks, turning them to dust. "Hold on," Lyra warned. The ship accelerated so fast that Amelia would have fallen if a field of energy hadn't wrapped around her like a seatbelt. The mountain fell away below them. In seconds, they were above the clouds. The hunter ships followed, gaining on them. "They're faster than us," Lyra said, "but we have something they don't." She placed her palm on a sphere in the center of the control panel. The crystal sank into it, connecting fully with the ship. The walls around them became transparent, giving a clear view in all directions. "When we touched mines, you helped unlock the archive. Now I can access the weapons." The ship changed course, heading straight up. The hunter ships followed. One fired a beam that hit the Star Chaser's side. The ship shook. "Shields at 60%, Lyra reported. "One more hit like that and we're in trouble." "What are you planning?" Amelia asked, gripping her seat as the ship spun to avoid another attack. "Something the Voidborn won't expect. Something human." Lyra smiled, her 3 eyes bright with excitement. "We're going to trick them." The Star Chaser suddenly flipped and dived back toward Earth. They passed so close to one hunter ship that Amelia could see strange shapes moving inside it. "Are those the Voidborn?" "Yes. What's left of them. Part machine, part energy, part organic. They haven't had physical bodies for thousands of years." They dived toward a mountain range, with the hunter ships right behind them. At the last second, Lyra pulled up, skimming the tops of trees. 2 hunter ships followed successfully, but the third hit a mountain peak and exploded in red fire. "One down," Lyra said. The ship sped over forests and lakes, staying low. Amelia watched screens showing their pursuers still close behind. "I need your help again," Lyra said. "The crystal showed me your mind works in patterns the Voidborn can't predict. I need you to fly the ship." "Me? I don't know how to fly an alien spaceship." "You don't need to know. Just think about where you want to go. The ship will read your thoughts through the crystal." Lyra moved from the pilot's seat, gesturing for Amelia to take her place. Amelia sat down nervously. The control panel shifted, becoming simpler. "Place your hand here," Lyra instructed, pointing to a flat surface. When Amelia put her hand down, the ship seemed to come alive around her. She could feel it like it was an extension of her body. She thought about turning left, and the ship responded instantly. "Good," Lyra said. "Now fly while I prepare our surprise." Amelia let her instincts take over. She didn't try to think logically about flying. Instead, she moved the ship in random patterns. Up, down, zigzag, loop. Things no trained pilot would do. The hunter ship struggled to follow these unpredictable movements. Meanwhile, Lyra worked at another console. The crystal sent pulses of energy through the ship. "Almost ready," she said. "I'm converting the archive's defense codes into a form we can use. Keep flying just a little longer." Amelia dived the ship toward a lake, then pulled up at the last second, sending water spraying into the air. One hunter ship flew through the water cloud. As it did, its systems seemed to falter. It dropped lower before recovering. Their systems don't handle water well, Amelia realized. They're from a desert world originally. "Yes," Lyra confirmed, impressed. "How did you know?" "The crystal showed me. I just didn't realize I knew until now." Amelia turned the ship toward a storm cloud in the distance, dark and heavy with rain. The hunter ships followed. "Lyra, whatever you're planning, do it soon." "Just a few more seconds." Lyra's fingers danced over symbols of light. The crystal in the console pulsed faster and faster. They entered the storm cloud. Lightning flashed around them. Rain hit the ship's shields in waves. The hunter ships were right behind them, their red lights visible through the dark clouds. "Now!" Lyra shouted. She pressed her hand against a new symbol that had appeared on the console. The crystal flared with blue light. From the star chaser, a pulse of energy expanded outward in all directions. It wasn't a physical weapon, but a wave of code. The hunter ships stopped in midair. Their lights flickered. They drifted aimlessly. "What happened to them?" Amelia asked. "The archive contained codes that can disrupt void-born systems. Not forever, but long enough for us to escape. Their ships will restart in about 10 minutes. The star chaser shot upward, leaving the disabled hunter ships behind. They climbed higher and higher until the blue sky turned black. Stars appeared around them. "We're in space," Amelia whispered, amazed. Earth curved below them, beautiful and blue. "Not for long," Lyra said. "The void-born mothership will send more hunters. We need somewhere safe to plan our next move." "Where can we go? Back to Earth?" "No. The void-born will have your planet surrounded by now. There's only one place we can go." Lyra pointed to the moon, glowing white against the blackness. "There." "The moon? There's nothing on the moon." Lyra smiled. "That's what your people think. The ancient ones left more than just a shield around Earth." The ship turned toward the moon. As they got closer, Amelia could see its craters and plains more clearly. "What's on the moon?" "A base. Hidden for thousands of years. And if we're lucky, allies." The ship accelerated toward the dark side of the moon. Amelia watched as Earth grew smaller behind them. She thought about her quiet life as an astronomer. How all she had wanted was to study the stars, not fly among them. Now she was leaving her home planet, running from aliens who wanted to destroy humanity. "Will we be able to go back?" she asked quietly. Lyra's skin shifted to a soft purple, which Amelia now recognized as sympathy. "Yes. But not until we find a way to stop the Voidborn. Not until Earth is safe." "And if we can't stop them?" Lyra's 3 eyes looked into Amelia's. "Then Earth becomes the 18th world they erase, and we become the last witnesses to another lost civilization." The ship flew onward toward the dark side of the moon. Behind them, Amelia saw flashes of light near Earth. More Voidborn ships arriving. The war for Earth had begun. And somehow, Amelia Wright, a small-town astronomer, was at the center of it all. The moon grew larger in the view screen as the star chaser approached. Amelia had seen the moon countless times through her telescope, but never like this. The craters looked deeper, the plains wider. It was no longer a distant light in the sky, but a real place. "Where exactly are we going?" she asked. "There." Lyra pointed to a dark region on the lunar surface called the Mare Crisium. The ancient ones built a base there long ago. If anyone from the Resistance survived, they might be there. As they flew over the lunar surface, Amelia saw no signs of life or buildings. Just endless gray dust and rocks. "I don't see anything," she said. "That's the idea." Lyra guided the ship lower. "The base is hidden, cloaked with the same technology that protected Earth for so long." The ship slowed as it approached a large crater. Lyra placed her palm on the console. The crystal pulsed with light. "Sending recognition codes," she explained. "If anyone's there, they'll know we're friends." For a minute, nothing happened. Then the lunar surface below them rippled, like water when a stone is dropped in. The dust and rocks faded away, revealing a massive structure built into the crater. "Oh my God," Amelia whispered. The lunar base was huge. Metal domes and towers spread across the crater floor. Landing pads held ships of different designs. Lights blinked along pathways connecting the buildings. A voice came through the ship's communication system. It spoke in a language Amelia didn't understand, full of clicks and musical tones. Lyra responded in the same language. "They're allowing us to land," she told Amelia. "But they're cautious. The base has been in hiding for decades." The star chaser descended toward one of the landing pads. As they got closer, Amelia could see figures moving below. They weren't human. "Are they your people? From the Stellar Accord?" Lyra's skin shifted to a sad blue. "No. My people are almost gone. These are refugees from other worlds the Voidborn attacked. Survivors. The ship landed softly. Through the transparent walls, Amelia saw the landing area was inside a dome. Air filled the space. She could see it shimmer at the edges where it met the vacuum of space. You can breathe here, Lyra assured her. The base maintains an atmosphere similar to Earth's. The ship's door opened. Amelia followed Lyra out onto the landing pad. The gravity felt wrong. Lighter than Earth, but not as light as she expected on the moon. Artificial gravity generators, Lyra explained, noticing her awkward steps. You'll get used to it. A group approached them. Aliens of different shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human, with 2 arms and legs. Others were completely different. One floated above the ground like a jellyfish. Another moved on 6 legs like an insect. All wore similar uniforms of silver gray, but among them, Amelia saw something that made her gasp. Humans. 3 people who looked completely human were in the group. One stepped forward, a woman about 50 years old with dark skin and short gray hair. She wore the same uniform as the others, but with blue markings on the shoulders. "Welcome to Luna Base," she said in perfect English. "I'm Commander Diane Powell." Amelia stared in shock. "You're human. How are you here? On the moon?" "Commander." Powell smiled slightly. "My great-grandmother was taken from Earth in 1969. The Resistance has been recruiting select humans for generations." Lyra stepped forward and placed her right hand, palm up, in front of Powell. The crystal glowed. "I am Lyra, last architect of the Stellar Accord. I bring the archive." Powell's eyes widened. "The archive? We thought it was lost." She turned to the others. "Alert the council. The architect has arrived." The group moved quickly, leading Amelia and Lyra into the base. Inside, the corridors were wide and curved, with light coming from the walls themselves. More aliens moved about. Amelia counted at least 12 different species. "How many are here?" she asked Commander Powell as they walked. "Just over 3,000. Representatives from 34 species. The last free survivors of worlds taken by the Voidborn. And humans? 87 of us. Most born here on the base. A few recruited from Earth over the years." They entered a large circular room. In the center was a round table with seats of different sizes and shapes to accommodate the various species. Screens lined the walls, showing images of Earth and space around it. "The Voidborn fleet has entered Earth orbit," one alien reported. It had pale blue skin and 4 arms. 27 ships. They're establishing a blockade. "They haven't attacked yet," Powell noted. "They're being cautious." "They fear what they don't understand," Lyra said. "And they don't understand humans." The room filled with more aliens, clearly leaders or representatives. They all looked at Lyra with hope and at Amelia with curiosity. Powell introduced them. "This is the Resistance Council, leaders from worlds that fell to the Voidborn. And now Lyra, last architect of the Stellar Accord." Lyra stepped forward. "I bring the archive, and I have found the final cipher." She gestured to Amelia. "A human?" "That's the cipher?" asked a tall, thin alien with skin like tree bark. "Yes," Lyra confirmed. "The Ancient Ones knew what they were doing when they hit Earth. Human minds work differently. They can make intuitive leaps, see patterns where others see chaos. Most importantly, they can imagine what doesn't exist and make it real." Amelia felt uncomfortable as everyone stared at her. "I'm just an astronomer. I don't understand what you want from me." Commander Powell placed a hand on her shoulder. "The Resistance has been fighting the Voidborn for centuries. We have weapons, ships, soldiers. What we've lacked is a way to defeat their hive mind permanently. The archive contains that knowledge, but we need a special kind of mind to unlock it fully." "Show her the Nexus," one of the other humans suggested. Powell nodded. This way, they led Amelia and Lyra deeper into the base, down long corridors and elevators that descended into the moon itself. Finally, they reached a massive door made of a metal Amelia didn't recognize. The door opened to reveal an enormous chamber. In the center stood a structure like nothing Amelia had ever seen. It was a sphere made of spinning rings, each covered in symbols that glowed with different colors. Energy arced between the rings, connecting them in a complex pattern. The Nexus, Powell explained. Built by the Ancient Ones 1,000,000 years ago, it can transmit a signal through subspace, reaching every corner of the galaxy instantly. The kind of signal that could disrupt the Voidborn collective consciousness permanently. But we've never been able to make it work, added another council member. It needs the archive to provide the signal pattern, and it needs a mind that can navigate the pathways between normal space and subspace. A human mind, Lyra said, looking at Amelia. Your mind. Amelia stared at the Nexus. What exactly would I have to do? Connect with the Nexus through the archive, Lyra explained. Our minds would join again, but this time with the Nexus amplifying our connection. Together, we would create a pattern the Voidborn cannot predict or defend against. Is it dangerous? Powell and Lyra exchanged glances. Yes, Lyra admitted. No one has ever attempted a full connection with the Nexus before. The energy involved is substantial. You mean it could kill me? It's possible. Amelia looked around at the aliens watching her. She thought about Earth, hanging in space, surrounded by ships that wanted to destroy everything she had ever known. And if I don't do it? We fight, Powell said grimly. We have weapons, brave soldiers, but the Voidborn are many and we are few. Eventually they will win. Earth will become the 18th world they consume. An alarm suddenly blared throughout the base. One of the aliens rushed to a communication panel. Voidborn ships have detected our location. 3 destroyers are approaching the dark side of the moon. On screens around the room, Amelia saw 3 massive ships moving toward them. They were larger than any she had seen before, black with red energy flowing through them like blood through veins. How did they find us? Powell demanded. The archive, Lyra realized. When we connected with it on the ship, the energy pulse must have been stronger than I thought. They detected it. How long until they reach us? Asked one council member. 20 minutes at most. We should evacuate. No. Powell shook her head. There's nowhere left to run. We make our stand here. She turned to Amelia and Lyra. If you're going to use the Nexus, it has to be now, before they get here. Amelia looked at the spinning rings of the ancient device, then at Lyra, whose 3 eyes watched her intently, then at the screens showing the approaching Voidborn ships, coming to destroy everything. She thought about her small observatory on the hill, about the stars she had spent her life studying, about all the people on Earth who had no idea what was coming. I'll do it, she said quietly. Tell me what to do. Relief showed on every face in the room. Powell began giving orders, preparing the base's defenses. Most of the council left to coordinate the coming battle. Only Lyra and 2 technicians remained with Amelia. We must prepare the Nexus, one technician said. It had a face like a cat, but with scales instead of fur. It needs time to reach full power. The technicians moved to control panels around the chamber, activating systems that had been dormant for centuries. The rings of the Nexus began to spin faster, the energy between them growing brighter. Lyra took Amelia's hands. Before we do, this you should know something. The connection we will form, it's deeper than just sharing thoughts. Our minds will blend in ways that cannot be undone. If we survive, we will always be connected. Amelia fell through light. Her body stayed in the chair, but her mind soared outward, expanding in all directions. She was everywhere and nowhere at once. She saw the moon, Earth, the solar system, the galaxy, all at the same time. Lyra was with her. Their minds flowed together like 2 rivers joining. Amelia felt Lyra's memories becoming her own. 300 years of life. Worlds she had never seen. People she had never met. All now part of her. In return, Lyra experienced Amelia's life. Her childhood looking at stars through a small telescope. Her parents' encouragement. college years studying astronomy, the quiet nights alone at the observatory, the wonder Amelia felt when looking at the universe. Focus, Lyra's thoughts reminded her. The nexus is amplifying our connection. We need to find the pattern. The archive opened between them, not just the data it contained, but the actual structure of the information. Amelia saw it as a vast, complex web, billions of connection points forming a map of knowledge. The Voidborn Collective works like this, Lyra explained through their shared consciousness. But they can only follow logical paths. We need to create something they cannot predict. Amelia understood now. She began to move through the web of knowledge, not following the clear paths but jumping between points that seemed unrelated. She connected weapons data with art, music with mathematics, biology with architecture, creating a new pattern that followed no logical rules, only intuition and imagination. Lyra followed, adding her own connections. Together, they rewrote the archive's structure, creating something new. A signal pattern that would spread through subspace, reaching every Voidborn ship and mind simultaneously. Outside their merged consciousness, alarms sounded throughout the base. The Voidborn destroyers had arrived. They began firing on the lunar surface, breaking through the ancient shields that had hidden the base for millennia. Inside the Nexus chamber, energy crackled around Amelia and Lyra. The technicians watched in awe as the rings spun faster than ever before, creating a sphere of light so bright they couldn't look directly at it. Commander Powell directed the base's defenses. Resistance. Ships launched to meet the Voidborn attack. Weapons fired from hidden lunar bunkers. But the Voidborn were strong. They began landing troops, half-machine creatures that moved on multiple legs like spiders. "We can't hold them off much longer," someone shouted over the communication system. "The Nexus chamber will be breached in minutes." Inside the merged consciousness, Amelia and Lyra heard these warnings distantly, like echoes from another world. "We're running out of time," Lyra's thoughts told Amelia. "The pattern is almost ready, but we need a catalyst, something uniquely human to complete it." Amelia searched within herself, looking for something the Voidborn could never understand. She found it in an unexpected place, not in knowledge or logic, but in emotion. Hope. The Voidborn had eliminated hope from their collective mind. They saw the universe as resources to consume, knowledge to absorb. They had no concept of believing in a better future, of fighting for something beyond survival. Amelia took this feeling, this uniquely human ability to hope even in darkness, and wove it into the pattern. It spread through the web, connecting everything in a way no logical mind could follow. "Yes." Lyra's thoughts merged with hers. "This is what the Ancient Ones saw in humans. This is why they protected Earth." The pattern was complete. Through their joined minds, they activated the Nexus. The rings spun to their maximum speed, creating a field of energy that expanded outward in all directions. The signal pattern traveled through subspace faster than light, reaching across space. On Earth, in orbit on the Moon, the Voidborn ships faltered, their red lights flickered. The collective mind that controlled them encountered the pattern and could not understand it. They tried to analyze it, to find the logic, but the pattern shifted every time they examined it, following paths of emotion and intuition they couldn't comprehend. The connection between Voidborn units broke. For the first time in thousands of years, they became individuals again. Lost, confused, afraid. In the Nexus chamber, the energy field around Amelia and Lyra pulsed one final time, then collapsed inward. The rings slowed. The light faded. Amelia gasped as she returned to her body. She felt heavy, solid again after being pure thought. Beside her, Lyra slumped in her chair, the crystal in her palm now dark and cracked. "Lyra?" Amelia reached for her. "Are you okay?" Lyra's three eyes opened, slowly. Her skin shifted weakly from gray to a pale gold. "We did it." The technicians rushed forward to help them. On screens around the room, Amelia saw the Voidborn ships drifting aimlessly. Some collided with each other. Others simply shut down. Commander Powell burst into the chamber, her uniform torn and dirty from fighting. It worked. The Void-born troops just collapsed. Their ships are dead in space. Cheers erupted throughout the base. Resistance members embraced each other. Some wept with relief. Is it permanent? One of the council members asked. Are the Void-born finished? Lyra shook her head weakly. Not finished, but broken. The collective is shattered. They're individuals again. It will take them centuries to rebuild their connection if they ever can. And their ships? Powell asked. The signal corrupted their control systems. They're useless now. Amelia looked at the screens showing Earth still blue and green and beautiful. It's over? Earth is safe? Yes, Lyra confirmed. The Void-born threat is contained. For now. Hours. Later, after medical treatment and rest, Amelia stood at a viewport looking at Earth. She could see clouds swirling over oceans, continents turning slowly as the planet rotated. It looked peaceful, its people unaware of how close they had come to destruction. Commander Powell joined her at the window. How are you feeling? Different, Amelia admitted. I have Lyra's memories now, 300 years of her life. I know things about the universe I never imagined. And she has yours. That's the nature of the bond you formed. What happens now? Powell gestured to the room behind them, where resistance members were already in meetings, making plans. Now we rebuild. The stellar accord will rise again, with Earth as a new member world. Earth doesn't even know aliens exist, Amelia pointed out. They will soon. The Void-born ships in orbit are visible to Earth's telescopes. Your governments are already trying to understand what they're seeing. We'll send delegates to help explain. And the people here? The resistance? Many will return to their home systems, to rebuild what the Void-born destroyed. Others will stay here, making the lunar base the new headquarters of the Accord. Powell smiled slightly. We could use an astronomer who understands both human and alien perspectives. Lyra entered the room. She moved slowly, still recovering. The crystal in her palm was gone, used up in the Nexus activation, but Amelia could still feel their connection, a warm presence in the back of her mind. The council wants to speak with both of us, Lyra said. They're forming a new leadership group. They want us to join. Me? I'm just the human who helped save the galaxy, Lyra finished. The last hope who didn't refuse. Amelia looked back at Earth, her home. She had spent her life looking up at the stars, wondering what was out there. Now she knew, and she couldn't go back to not knowing. I'll need to visit Earth, she said. Explain to my friends what happened. Get my telescope. Lyra's skin shifted to a playful purple. Your telescope after everything you've seen? It was a gift from my grandmother. Besides, it led me to you, didn't it? Through their mental connection, Amelia felt Lyra's amusement and affection. There was something else too, a feeling Lyra had hidden before, a reason she had chosen. Amelia beyond just her family connection to Catherine Wright or her compatible brain patterns. You saw something in me, Amelia realized. Even before we met, through your monitoring of Earth. Lyra's 3 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Amelia now knew was embarrassment. I watched your observations of the stars, your papers on distant galaxies. You saw beauty where others saw only data. You asked questions others didn't think to ask. You chose me specifically, crashed near my observatory on purpose. The Void-born were already tracking me. I had to find someone who could help, someone who could understand. Yes, I chose you. Commander Powell cleared her throat. The council is waiting, and we have a delegation preparing to go to Earth. The President of the United States has requested a meeting. Amelia took one last look at Earth. Then she turned to follow Powell and Lyra into the meeting room, where representatives from 34 worlds waited to plan the future of the galaxy. As they walked, Lyra's thoughts touched Amelia's mind. Are you sorry that I came to you? That I said you were my last hope? Amelia thought about her old life. Quiet nights at the observatory, stars viewed from a distance, a universe she could only see, not touch. She looked at Lyra, 3 eyes, color-changing skin, and now a permanent presence in her mind. She thought about the world she would see, the knowledge she would learn, the role she would play in rebuilding the stellar accord. "No," she answered, both aloud and in her thoughts. "I couldn't refuse you then, and I wouldn't refuse you now." Lyra's skin shifted to gold, the color of joy. Together they walked into the council chamber, ready to help shape the new alliance between Earth and the stars.